What is up, everyone? How are you doing? How are you doing? Good to have you here. Another day, yo, another day. Hopefully some volatility. Hey, guys, 1 minute left. And then we have some news, right? So a couple of seconds. Over here, 2:30 p.m. Central European Time, we have some news. That's the reason to go live, as mentioned in the morning update. So let's see if it brings some volatility. At the moment, though, price moving to the upside. We built some bullish CVD divergences locally here, right? These have played out as price now eventually also took this high. But of course, it's interesting. Now, in this live stream, of course, we're going to cover Elliott waves, as we always do. I'm just starting Lucifer, so you're right on time. And we're going to observe local price action as well, which is very interesting. So the bullish scenario is a diagonal in a wave 1, corrective 2, continuation up in a wave 3. We have news now. If price takes out this high, this is stuff that the silvers will know, but I didn't have it in the morning update. But if price takes out this high here, then a double 1-2, 1-2, 1-2 is invalidated. Right? So the bearish scenario is that there's a double 1-2 here locally for then a wave 3 down. The bullish scenario is that this move down is corrective and we continue up, right? And the invalidation is clear, pretty much 62k. That is the level you want to see hit if you're bullish. But yeah, we're gonna cover everything in, of course, a lot more detail in the stream, but immediately starting with a little bit of volatility here, which is always nice to see. So making a high, and yeah, we have bearish CVD over here. We have bullish CVD over here, so that makes life interesting, no? Okay, what's up, everyone? Good to have you here. Hike, Fukra, Kevin, Give Me Music, doing very well. Thanks, Leva, Bina, Jeroen. What's up, Jeroen? You're a mod now as well. I gave you the rights there. Newsly, what's up? Saraga, Mido, Karim. Potentially would be quite something for the alts, of course. Hunter, what's up? Rostam, hit the like on the way in. Cheers, mate. Aniak, how you doing? Luxiri, Fit Newton, good morning. Sibel, by the way. Sibel, thanks for your email. I saw your email. I didn't have time to reply to the email yet. But I saw the AI made songs and I listened to a few as well. It's crazy. What a great surprise. Thanks so much. It's really fun to listen to those songs. I especially like the techno vibey one, you know, that one is really cool. Yeah, but also the reggae and stuff. It's really fun. I will let people listen to the songs on stream, but another one because I haven't prepared it for this one. It's really cool. Thanks, Sibel. Very kind of you. Brought this. I was in the train and I saw the email. I had a smile on my face in the train. Par, Andy, what's up? Muganduzi, good to have you here. Catching me live. Good to have you here, man. Finally live. Yep, maybe a band-aid. Christian, Abid, Afshin, good to have you here. The data came in pretty neutral, so not much volatility. Yeah, a little spike up, little move down, not too much just yet. Yanis, how you doing? Welcome, good to have you here as well. Yeah, shall we start? No, shall we start with the analysis? Keeping an eye, of course, on local price action as well. So yeah, quite a little move here. This is the news candle, right? So we have a little bit of news. As Fukra says, apparently came out pretty neutral. I'm not really sure what it is, but you know, news is news, so I'm just interested. We have a bit of resistance just above, and of course some more support to the downside. But let's cover Elliott waves, and especially the waves in this current range here are actually quite interesting from the move up. Bullish, of course, is a diagonal. Look for 1, 2, 3 or an ABC. And for the bears, you have a corrective structure up and either extend the correction, just moving sideways, as long as you don't hit 64.5, or you move down already in a double 1-2. Now that stuff we're gonna cover once we talk about the lower time frames. Can we count an impulse on the 15-minute? There is the potential, yes. But mind you, this move up, an impulse can be a wave. Can you hear that? Yo, it doesn't happen every day, yo. The fire truck. Okay, interesting. Hopefully everyone is safe here. Some volatility in my street as well. De brandweer inderdaad, Kevin. Yeah. Fire truck passing by. Anyway, a move up, right? An impulse can always be a wave C, wave A, or wave 1. So be mindful, right? But we're gonna cover that in a second. So I want to go to the daily. Shortly cover the daily, then zoom in locally, and chatting and Q&A. Probably be around for like an hour. I mainly want to catch the news and see what price does leading up to New York as well. So continuation here locally. So let's have a note. Okay. Not all Gouda cheese. I know, right? Darpan also says news was as expected, an excuse for price to move. Yeah, exactly. I mean, in the end, it's not the news being published, it's people pressing buttons. So yeah, I agree. But it can induce some volatility, so it's always good to trade safe. Yasin, police coming. I know, right? It was the brandweer. Yeah, it was the fire truck. Okay, let's start, everyone. Good to have you guys here. Daily time frame, keeping things simple as well. Going back to the 15 min here, by the way, on my AGGR chart, because this is what we will be talking about as well. So on the daily time frame, zigzag to the downside, it is your bearish scenario, 5-3 and then a 5-wave or common target for C over here. It's very simple, right? 5-way leading diagonal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in A, corrective structure B, 5-wave C. The B is a bit of a pain in the ass, and you may have seen this morning also in Discord. People in the group were discussing this structure in particular as either a 5-wave structure, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or the potential of a zigzag, double zigzag. Of course, the by far most bearish scenario, by the way, is not an ABC. Just to let you know, of course, the most bearish scenario is that you actually finished a weekly impulse to the upside. So if you go to the weekly time frame, go to log A. Of course, your most bearish, 1 second. Let me get this on the chart here. But this is not yet relevant. So of course, your most bearish scenario is actually that you have a truncated 5, right? So your 5 is in green, and you then move down for a bigger 4. It's just not yet relevant. It doesn't have the highest probabilities, and a truncation is very rare, more so on the higher time frames as well. So pretty much the most bearish is this being a 5-wave structure ending a bigger 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but then wave 5 is truncated, which is incredibly rare, never preferred unless all of the other scenarios fail. Second reason why it is so low probability as well is if this is your final leg 5, creating a truncation with 3, right? Then your wave 5 in like your final 5-wave structure, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, has a truncation by itself. So in some charts, this is a truncation as well here. Right, and as mentioned, truncations are very rare. So a double truncation, like the higher degree 3 and 5, and then locally 3 and 5 as well. Now, on some charts, this high took the high on the left. So on some charts, you can argue we have a finished 5er, but on some others, like this one here, we didn't take the high. And then again, truncations are very, very rare. So therefore, bearish scenario is higher probability to be a zigzag, right? Or the other one that I will show you in a second, but then continue the trend. So therefore a 5, 3 and a 5. Counting a 3-waver in here is also a pain in the ass, not gonna lie. Everyone knows we've already covered this many times. But yeah, this is just a bearish scenario, keeping it simple, not going in too much like detail and fluff. So ABC, common target for C on the chart. In a wave C, we're looking for an impulsive structure to the downside, which on the 4-hour chart is then represented by a double 1-2. So we have a diagonal in a wave 1. Lots of overlap, of course, in this grinding structure to the downside. Many 3-wavy structures as well, labeling as a diagonal. Then we have our 2 and then eventually 3 down, where this is another 1-2. We cannot label the current range as a wave 4, right? We can't move this wave 2 up here, invalidation up here, and then count this as an unfinished. So we do this, and then count this as a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is because wave 4 touched a 0.618 taken from the high of 2 to the low of 3, which is an invalidation for 4. So therefore, if we want to count this very bearish, we want to look at something like this, where we are looking for a double 1-2, looking for continuation to the downside in a bigger wave 3, moving into the lower 50s. Right? That is then eventually what you're going to be aiming for. Now this wave 2 common target 618786 has been hit. This high is also made. Little bird next to the window. It's also made after the 3A2 fib time taken from the start to the end of wave 1. So also time-wise it works, fib-wise it works, but a wave 2 can always be a bigger corrective structure or a longer range before continuing down in a wave 3. Very much depends on the local structures as well, because in a wave 2 we are looking for corrective structures, so 3-wave moves, right? And that is why the lower time frame at the moment is so incredibly interesting, because it pretty much controls the probabilities on a daily time frame at the moment. On the daily bullish scenario, WXY on the chart at the moment, WX and then a wave Y with inside wave Y a zigzag, a 3-wave structure. Common target for Y is hit. That is the yellow zone, 63.2K, 54.4K. What does impact probabilities here is, so both scenarios are not ideal. Of course, the wave B being a 3-wave structure is far from ideal as a 3-waver move, right? It can be counted as a 5-waver, but 5 is on some charts truncated, but B can't be 5, must be 3. And counting a 3-waver here is also not great. Now, at the same time, if we do count this as a WXY, your wave C is over twice the length of A plus B, which reduces probabilities for a wave C. Time is never an invalidation, right? But it does impact probabilities. So not ideal, but I gotta say, actually, this range has a lot of little details that actually make it very complex to count. So that's why if you're counting yourself, keeping it simple and wait for local price action to show itself is always a good idea. So we have wave Y, target area for Y, that's where we are now. We then look for a zigzag ABC to the downside inside that wave Y, which is then counted like this. So it's the same diagonal, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but now it's ABC instead of a 1, 2, 1, 2 continuation down. A, B, C, C finish, low is in, and you retrace back to the upside to continue the sideways range. Here you have the 618 on the chart once again, just showing that the probabilities are low for this to be a wave 4 in a wave C. In case people have a wave C that is counted as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, very low probability, right? If you take this low, probabilities are very low for a zigzag to the downside. Preferably, in other words, your low is in for C and you see a bigger move to the upside. Now that means that if you are looking for a bigger move towards the upside, we got to count this structure bullish. And the bullish count is, wow, what happened here? Up. Overlap between, is this correct now? Yes. And the bullish count is that we have a diagonal in wave 1. We can't count this structure any different, right? It has to be a diagonal structure because of all the overlap, all the 3-wavy structures in this move to the upside as well, right? 3-wave down, 3-wave down, 3-wave. We can't count it an impulse because of the overlap, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No overlap between 1 and 4, and also not a double 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, because we went down. So the bullish scenario is a diagonal. Now what is not pretty is that your wave 4 is longer than 2 on some charts. And this is, again, on some charts it's the case, on some others it is not. But on my chart that I have here, it is. So the fact that wave 4 on my chart, on Bybit, on Binance, not on index, is longer than wave 2 invalidates a contracting diagonal. And that is a rule, right? So on some charts, a diagonal, like on mine, on Bybit, on some Binance charts, a diagonal is invalidated, which means the probabilities are then higher. This is corrective. On some other charts, you can count a diagonal here, right? It's not invalidated. So that makes it tricky. But on the fact that some charts took out or hit the 1-to-1, meaning 4 is longer than 2, is of course a bit of a thing with probabilities, right? Now, besides the 1-to-1, we don't necessarily need the 1-to-1 to get a good feel for the probabilities of price moving up or price moving down, because we can just analyze the structure to the downside as well. Now, as I mentioned 2 days ago, right? If we are bullish, what we want to see is impulsive up, corrective down, and impulsive continuation, right? That's what we are looking for. And what we want to see is price moving above 64.5K. That is when the probabilities will switch bullish, because a double 1-2 down is invalidated. For the bears, what you want to see is corrective structures up and impulsive structures down. Okay. With this in mind, right? I don't think I saved. No, I didn't save it. So we can analyze this structure on the chart. If we are bearish, and this is the high here, right? And we are looking for impulsive continuation to the downside, we only need to look for one of three structures: an impulse, a diagonal, or a double 1-2, right? Now, looking for an impulse, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? No overlap between a 1 and 4. As you can see, there's overlap here, so an impulse doesn't work, right? We can have an impulse here, yeah, no problem, right? But we can't count this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because of the overlap here. So then the second option would be a diagonal, where we are then counting 1, 2, 3, and then eventually 4 and 5, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, where a diagonal is already finished. The problem here is that it is an expanding diagonal. So just for clarity, right, I then do this, bum, 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 there you go. So this is your diagonal. Wave 2 and 4 in a diagonal have to be a zigzag, right? So wave 1 has to end here. It can't end here. And if we then pull a channel from the low of your 1 to the low of your 3 to the high of 2, right, then you can see wave 4 just missed out on hitting the top of the channel. Yeah? And the top of the channel is an invalidation for a contracting diagonal. Interesting. Now, besides that, you can of course pull some fibs. Oh, wait a second. Yeah, this is the low here. Yeah, this is the low. So we can also pull a few fibs to see. Let's see. Wave 3 has to be shorter, or preferably shorter than 1, which is the case. 5 is clearly shorter than 3. Then you have 2 and 4. 4 is shorter in price than 2. So that is perfectly fine, right? So for potential diagonal. Now in a diagonal, you either count diagonals 5, 3, 5, 3, 5, or all of the waves are zigzag structures. Now it's a bit messy, but one thing is for sure: if this is a impulsive structure to the downside, we have overlap here, we have overlap here, it must be a diagonal here. But we can't count a diagonal in a diagonal, you know, like not in a wave 3. So therefore, based on this structure, all of the waves then have to be zigzag structures. So 3, 3, 3, 3, and then a 3 pretty much, right, to end the diagonal. Now, so it's still on the cards. It's not like invalidated because wave 4 then didn't take out the top of the channel. So there is the potential, right? And your most bearish scenario is a double 1-2, 1 2 1 2 continuation to the downside. Your invalidation is this high. Right? If price takes out this high, it invalidates a double 1 2 scenario to the downside. We had bearish CVDs here. Now we currently still have bearish CVDs here as well, as a FYI. Of course, we also at the low have bullish CVD. So CVD is at this moment not that great. 3-min CVD is always good to use. So in other words, there is the potential here for bearish scenarios to the downside. It's not invalidated. Diagonal is not invalidated. A double 1 2 is also not invalidated. So that's good to know. So with regards to the probabilities of the scenarios, the probabilities all depend on the local price action here, where we have very clearly a bullish scenario where you're looking for a 1 2 continuation to the upside. Most common target for 2, by the way, is the 05786 area, which we haven't hit. The 382 is an uncommon target. It's a target nonetheless, but it remains an uncommon target, right? And of course, your bearish scenario is a double 1 2, where your invalidation is 64.5K. The invalidations are very clear, right? Take 64.5 before taking out the low. We're going to be looking for price to move towards the upside, no? We have some resistances to the upside as well, all prepared in case we do move up. Some areas of interest. Yeah. So, probabilities locally with the information we have just covered. Impulsive, 1 2 continuation up, right? In that case, you want to hit 64.5K. Moving up and taking this high is not enough for the bulls, right? You got to move up and take out 64.5. Even if you only take this high, you can still get an ABC and just move down just as quick, right? So on a higher time frame, you got to take 64.5 to change the probabilities to the bulls, because so far we have simply been grinding down and down and down and down and down and down and further down as well. But the probabilities here locally, yeah, what to say? It's so neutral. You have bearish CVDs here. You have bullish CVDs here. You can count this as a diagonal. On some charts, wave 4 is valid. On some charts, wave 4 is not valid, right? So it's a bit of a meh. You can count this as a diagonal or a double 1 2, right? Depends on the structure to the upside. So arguably, if we look at the trend, probabilities are higher to continue down unless you actually take out 64.5K on the higher time frame. That is your higher time frame minimum goal, is to move up and hit 64.5K. Now, as mentioned in the morning update, an interesting resistance is the blue box here, 61.7, 61.8. Below we have some additional support as well. There wasn't necessarily too much support here. It was just they took the low, so it took a little bit of liquidity. But as you can see here on the AGGR, bearish CVD, lower high, higher high, both on yellow and on blue. However, on a 3-minute time frame, we had a little bit of bullish CVDs here, but these already played out as price then moved towards the upside. So that is done. A little bit of volatility here, price moving to the downside when the news hit. Green candle, CVD moves down, potential for an in-candle bullish CVD divergence. So we are prepared. We know the levels where the probabilities change. We are at the lower side of the range, right? Makes it interesting to look for swings as well. But locally here, there is no very clear like probability. So sometimes that's just the way it is. Lol. On a weekly time frame, let's start there. On the weekly, the probabilities are higher to continue the trend, right? The weekly is easy. Even if you move down, right, no problemo. Only if you move down below 40, it's a big problem. Up till then, no. 51 is very important support. So on the weekly time frame, probabilities remain higher for the bulls. On the daily time frame, both of the scenarios shared are also bullish. WXY sideways range, preferably your Y is in with an ABC and you start moving to the upside, right? 1, 2, and then eventually continue up later this year. And in a bearish scenario, we're simply looking for ABC. Where is it? And then move up. But this is where you move down towards that 50, 51, 52 area. It would be nice from a psychology point of view because the more fear you have in the market, the better it is to actually move towards the upside. But on a 50-minute time frame, yeah, the fact that we had some 3-min CVD here, interesting. We didn't really hit resistance here. We might have hit the point of control. Nope, point of control is lower as well. So yeah, I could see price move at least towards the upside to hit the resistance and then take it from there, because if price passes this resistance here, there's not much to the upside to then take the local high. And then it's up to, well, where's the next area of resistance, right? And that is the weekly and the daily. Sorry, here. So we have a daily 64.2 and then the weekly naked point of control at 65.1. But if you move up to the daily, you get so close to invalidating the double 1-2 down. You're so close to these highs. Of course, the probabilities are quite high. You're then going to invalidate the double 1-2, which increases probabilities for the bulls. So the stage where the market is in is very much a stage where we know where the probabilities change, bullish or bearish, right? We can, and it's simple risk management as well. Look, as mentioned, swing trading down here is incredibly easy, right? You have a potential end of a structure. There's a potential wave 1, look for 2 and 3. I mean, what the hell? Your invalidation is super easy as well. No financial advice. There's the potential for a bigger move up. But yeah, locally would be nice to at least see this resistance passed. We have a bit of 3-min bullish CVD, which did already play out. We have 50-min bearish CVD. So yeah, from an Elliott wave point of view locally, there's something to say about the bulls and the bears. And it's not always clear cut. No? We have some bullish CVDs locally. So green candle CVD moving down. That's an in candle bullish CVD divergence. So it could be quite interesting to see price move towards resistance and take it from there. No, yeah. And that's that. Another green candle again, CVD locally, right? 3-min moving to the downside here. There's the potential, therefore, for a finish flat, move up, hit resistance. So that is something that can happen. But yeah, so bit of bullish CVD, but that's that, you know. So on a daily time frame, touch 64.5 and we're going to be looking up. As long as you don't hit 64.5, arguably probabilities are higher to look for lows. But on a 50-minute time frame, there's no clear indication for either or. We do have bullish CVDs. We have bearish CVDs. Yeah. But if you pass this resistance, yeah, there's not much left. So passing the resistance here, and the probabilities increase to take the high, and if you take the high, yeah, there's not much going on. So increases probabilities for the bulls, arguably. Fukra, you probably either have to refresh or the likes aren't working for you. I was thinking that. Of course, for a wave 2, it's a very shallow retracement. Preferably you actually still move down into the 05786 area. Of course, for the bears, you just want to see continuation down. So yeah, what to say? You know, arguably, as long as you don't hit 64.5, probabilities are higher to go down. Passing the resistance at 618 would be step 1. Then take the high at 62.5k here, and then there isn't too much resistance till you're getting close to 64.5k, which invalidates a double 1-2 to the downside. So we're at the low of the range. Very clear invalidation of the bullish scenario, which is the low here, right? Making life easy. And the potential for price moving up, just like the bears. Yeah. They have the very, very neutral price action. Let's see what you guys have been up to. Answer some questions as well. When did we start? I don't know, 10 minutes or something? Three-minute CVD is interesting though, so that's why I keep an eye on the 3-minute. So even though you can have bullish or bearish CVDs on a 15, if the 3-minute continuously shows bullish or bearish, that is what matters. So at the moment, price moved up here with some bullish CVDs. So that's why I'm quite interested to see the resistance hit. Let's take it from there now. What to say? Take it step by step. We have the scenarios prepped. Preparation is the key to success, no? So, are you a bot? Hunter. I'm not sure if, I guess yes, as long as India is not in the restricted countries. But I don't know the restricted countries out of my head. So, of course, what Hunter is talking about is the community post and a Discord post today, which actually is quite sick. So I will participate myself. Is on Blowfin, they have a campaign now where if you just trade the way you do, you know, whatever the budget, whatever you do, you can win USDT equivalent to the price of a product like Rolex 9.4K if you trade over 100 million. Which is ridiculous. Get AirPods, so you know, sick price. AirPods as well at 1 million volume. It's not too difficult. So yeah, it's really sick campaign. But made by Charles, by the way. His name is Junkie in Discord, but his real name is Charles. So yeah, this is it's really sick. It's always nice to see that partners really try to do their best as well for the community to come up with original campaigns for you guys. And if you trade anyway, then this is like a typical campaign where, hey, I'm just trading, I'm a trader, I'm trying to make some money during the day, and if I reach, and I just trade, and if I reach a certain volume in 2 weeks, oh nice, I get some free money. That's great. So I really enjoy those campaigns myself as well. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind some free money. So get me free money, please. Yes, sir. So I don't know if it's restricted or not in India, but you got to check the restricted countries. Papa, what's up? You don't have a day. Maybe we plunge still. 54.4. Yeah, it's interesting. I have multiple confluences still to the downside, but like locally, look, we have 3-minute bullish CVDs. I've just shown these on stream. There's the potential for continuation, right? If we at least invalidate the bearish scenarios here. Starting with passing this resistance is key. Pass this, probabilities increase to take the high, and take the high. I mean, there's not too much resistance to the upside. We can have a look in a little bit if we can find anything, but usually I'm very well prepped with all of my levels, and you can see it's very empty here. All right, very empty. So I mentioned earlier in the video today in the morning update that this resistance is very interesting to me because it's important. I pass this resistance and there's simply like I have a bit of a gap. It's not too much going on. If we go to a 12-hour time frame, let's see what the volume profile is doing at the moment. Yeah, so pass, yeah, exactly. If you take the high, you're going to get back into the volume profile as well. Of course, then preferably we close some candles, retest the value area low, and then you want to see price moving to the point of control, but at least you get back into the range. For now, we rejected at the value area low of this range. But then again, there's no resistance in here from a volume profile perspective, at least the one I took here. Take it from the low here. Now this is exactly the same. Of course, volume to the downside a little bit. $63.5K, a little bit of resistance there, which of course is in confluence with actually just a simple support resistance flip here, right? Support, fill. So that would be at least that's one level to keep in mind, but my stronger levels they're higher really. The weekly naked point of control, daily 64.2. So yeah. Let's see. Yeah, so more bullish CVD here, right? So we've been talking about this. Green candle CVD moves down, in candle bullish CVD. Happened again over here. Right? Happened again over here as well. Blue is moving up, yellow is moving down. But as price is moving up, you can see yellow is just down, down, down. So there is absorption of market shorts with limit longs locally. So I'm very curious to see what price does when it hits the resistance here. That's the most important, pretty arguably the most important area on the chart now here. Who's cousin? Hoshi, what's up? How you doing? Austria will win. They had a good win. It was a nice match. It was a fun match. Where are the Bulls? They're coming. BTCC, what's up, guys? How you doing? How you doing? Make sure to check out these channels. So BTCC is always in the chat. They also have, again, more, like, it's crazy, guys. There's so much going on with the partners for you guys. So if you happen to trade on BTCC, also here, again, you just do what you do, trade what you trade, enjoy your life, and then, till when is this running? 8/7, so till the 8th of July, and then after the 8th of July, you get free money. You know, it's like you just trade and I participate in like, not often do I participate in campaigns as I like to trade, but you know, whenever there's good stuff, I don't mind free money. How would you count the first 1-2 local bearish double 1-2 scenario? It's just about having the scenario prepped. Right, so in a double 1-2, right, 1-2 1-2, you want to have price moving to the downside. This structure has to be a wave 4 and then an ABC to the upside. So if this is your wave 4, then we either need a wave 2, right? So you then have your 1 2 3 4 5 correction, and then another 1 2. That's of course your most bearish scenario. But now price moving up. This box is in confluence with an 886 taken from this high to the low here. So if price can move to the upper end of the box, you're going to hit that 886, 61.8k. So that would arguably invalidate a double 1-2 down, increase probabilities to take out this high, right? And then you only have a diagonal left, but yeah, 3-min probability is always interesting. These have played out. We see price moving. Yeah. Now let's see if it can pass the resistance. If it can pass the resistance, it can be an important probability flip for the bulls. Some volume coming in, by the way. Do we have volume coming in? Yeah, so volume coming in as well. So what you now want to see for the bulls, what's important now is continuation. This should be the start of a, if you're bullish, this should be the start of your wave 3. As in an impulsive structure, right, you want the highest volume to be in your wave 3. Not in a wave 1, not in a wave 5. That's very rare. Most commonly it's a wave 3. That's by far most common. So naturally, when you analyze the chart and you see volume increasing as price is moving up, right? The moment you see this on the chart, you want this to be, in an impulse, a wave 3. So you want to look for 1, 2, and then 3 towards the upside. That's your bullish scenario. Before price comes down and retraces, you want to see at least another 4 and a 5, where you then make a higher high on a lower amount of volume. If price is ending a structure on high volume and then changes the market structure, so for example, we hit resistance, we move down and take out this low, right? Then the probabilities are higher. This is corrective. And then the probabilities are higher to move down 260. So this is quite interesting, right? So we have price increasing, volume increasing. This is a nice little, like from an Elliott wave point of view, it's a nice little like sign or not. It's not like signal in the trade in the sense of like it's a trade, but it gives us information that we can play with. Shared in the analysis earlier. Cheers, Mark. On a diagonal where wave 4 hit the 1-1, should we consider it as affecting the structure as much as it hit by wick? I mean, wicks are also price action, right? So it's important, yeah. It's the same at the high at 72k with the truncation in a wave 5. So if we count this structure to the upside as a 5-wave structure, 1 2 3 4 5, some charts took this high but only by a wick. Some other charts did not take this high, as on my chart. So do we count the wick or not the wick? Well, the problem here is that some charts did and some charts didn't. And there is no like one chart that's the magic chart and the all-speaking chart, right? Like, oh yeah, Binance has the highest amount of volume, but yeah, who cares? You know, it's not necessarily, oh, Binance is the greatest chart. Index chart is always quite interesting, but it's not ideal. And that is what's impacting probabilities at times as well. Some charts took this high, some others didn't take the high. So in the diagonal here to the upside, some charts hit wave 4 invalidation, some charts did not, like the diagonal invalidation, some charts did not. it actually is not even that common that charts are so bad aligned. But this range is proving quite tricky between the different charts. So yeah, the fact that wave 4, right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then a diagonal on some charts, it's a valid structure, is the reason why we can't say it's invalidated. But it is something we have to keep in mind when analyzing the continuation of this range. So yes, there is the potential for one diagonal 2 and then continue up in a wave 3, or have a 1 longer 2 continue in a 3, right? No problem. But it is something we have to at least be aware of, because it might impact the probabilities after, right? So yeah, it's those type of details that are important. But if not all the charts are aligned, then we can't be sure. Karim, wait, Karim. Wait, I'm not sure. Are you the one that made the logo? The logo email? Because I have to reply, because I saw your email and I downloaded the logo, and I actually had a proper look at it, and also shared it with the team, with Mark and maybe a Band-Aid, before I wanted to reply. But is that you? Wait, is he still here, Karim? So I think I'm not. I think it is, right, Karim? So send me an email where out of nowhere Karim made a logo with some candles, like the Koens logo, but instead of the controller buttons, because I come from the gaming and esports industry, that's my background, change it to candles. I'll reply to you later today, Karim. First of all, really big thanks for just out of nowhere sending me an email and coming up with ideas and being open to think about a logo just like that. Like, incredible. Cheers. And also in reply, I'm happy to provide all the analysis and everything I do. So yeah, cheers, Karim. You'll get an email later. I'll make sure to answer today. So I have seen the email, but I still have to reply as I downloaded the files and then asked what other people thought. You can count a clean small impulse after what it looks like. It doesn't add to the bullish problem. You are talking, I guess, about this structure. 1, 2, 3, 4, either 5 in here or 5 in, and then correction continuation. Yes, there is a potential impulse here towards the upside, right? Now, mind you, at that moment in time, this impulse can also be a wave C, right? ABC. So if you think about a double 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, right? ABC is important. Now wave C starts to be quite stretched. So unless this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, ending on a high amount of volume still increasing. But because we have the potential of corrective structures as well as impulsive structures, a single impulse up here doesn't mean, because you got to identify C, A, or 1. Now, what for me was important is the bullish CVDs building here on a 3-minute time frame. Wow, look at the CVD on yellow. It's tanking, more bullish CVDs. So what for me was important is this. Ranging up, right? So we had higher low, but look at yellow. Lower low, right? Oh, so like this. Look at, you see? Higher lows on yellow, lower lows, right? That's a bullish CVD. That is what is interesting to me. And then we move down here. Okay, fine, right? But then we start creating green candles. CVD is moving down. That is interesting. So that is what then gives a bit more confidence for price to move towards the upside. But at the beginning, you can still have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in C and then move towards the downside and continue. So the 3-min CVD is important because on a 15, we have bearish CVD. On a 15, we also have bullish CVD. And these counter each other. right? So these are pretty useless, the 15-minute. But the 3-minute is where things then are interesting. So that's why I like to use the 3 and the 15-minute. So the 3-minute bullish CVDs, those are the ones that then at least add to price moving up. Can we immediately say bullish? I first want to, take it level by level, step by step. Like we moved down from 72K to 50, 58, 59K. So before switching bullish, you just want to see 64.5K taken. But level by level, step one would be to pass the resistance where we are right now. If you pass this resistance, probabilities, of course, increase to take the high, as this is the most important, pretty much most important resistance area we have here. Is there anything else? So little point of control here, still just above price. But where we are now is, of course, value area high. But what I have above right now is a daily and a daily naked point of control. Always interesting. Right. Just above the box, as you can see, there's still a small little point of control as well. But it's all probabilities, and I very much like to trade or analyze level to level, step by step. So I can't immediately say, oh, bullish. I need to see some levels gained because we are below the value area low of the daily channel. We have been moving to the downside with bearish probabilities continuously playing out. Every time we had bearish, bearish, bearish. This is pretty much the first time where things are quite neutral. Every range that we have built since 72K, the probabilities were higher to move down. Here we were waiting for price to hit the 382, right? The fibs. Because we didn't hit those fibs, high probability to move down. We move down into the fibs, immediately touch the 886, probability is higher to take the low. Cool, easy one. Price moved towards the upside here. Right, looked impulsive. Bearish CVDs building, wave 4 invalidated for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Probabilities increased. This was an ABC and take the low. Move up, down, touch the 886. Probabilities increase. This is a wave C or a wave Y. Increased probabilities to take the low. Same here. 3-wave structure. If we're bullish, we want to see a wave 4 and a 5 minimum and then look for a retracement to the downside. Wave 4 was too deep. Overlap with wave 1. Wave 4 hit the 618. Probabilities increase for an ABC. Take the low. It's like there, at no point in time where probability is higher for the bulls. Now we dip below 60K, right? Which is interesting from a psychology point of view. As you can imagine, many people at the low of the range are, I guess typical mindset as well is at the low of the range, they're very bearish. At the high of the range, they're very bullish. Of course, the opportunities lie exactly 180 degrees the other way around. But this range here is the first time where the probabilities are arguably quite neutral now because of this structure up being a potential diagonal, which can be counted. This can be counted as a wave 1. We didn't hit an 886 at the low, so we don't have that information. We have bullish CVD as well as bearish CVD. So that is what keeps things a bit tricky. But there's at least a potential for an impulse. And that is important. Which, but then this diagonal on some charts is invalidated and on some charts is not invalidated. And that makes it tricky, as that means that on some charts you can count this as a wave 1 or a wave A, while on other charts you cannot, because it's against the rules. So this is why now the probabilities are quite neutral. Now locally here, that's why the 3-min CVD then comes in, because on the 15 we have both bearish and bullish CVD, so it's quite useless. But on a 3-minute, as explained, bullish CVD, right? During the stream we observed the bullish CVDs here, right? A sign of strength. And that is what's interesting. So what I now like to see for the bulls is I want to see that continue. Right? We are at resistance, no problem. We now hit the box as well, so that is nice. I want to see that continue. 3-minute time frame, continue with the bullish CVD divergences, stuff like you've seen here. So if we start a new range, higher low, lower lows on the CVD. That is what I would like to see. Because if you go to a 15, right? go to a 15, look at blue, right? Lower high, blue is higher high. It's not great. But on yellow, you can now see price moving up, CVDs moving down. That's because of those 3-minute CVD divergences, which is interesting, right? So, yeah, higher low in price, lower low on yellow, bullish CVD on yellow, but a bearish CVD on blue. Therefore, I like to zoom in more locally, keep an eye on the 3-min, and use that CVD there and not the 15. A weekend move. The weekend is always interesting. Generally, a ranging structure would prefer to have an impulsive move before the weekend, either up or down, or continue ranging, of course. But would be nice that if we get some volatility to have that before the weekend. 58K. I mean, we of course hit 58K. Already answered that, of course. What local low price point would you need to get confirmation? Well, confirmation is a big word, right? It's all probabilities. So that means you want to see an impulsive structure to the downside, right? If you hit the 886, probabilities, of course, are very high to take out the low. Well, we're far away from the 886. What you want to see is price moving impulsively to the downside to start with, right? So, of course, this is a bit of a ranging structure down, but there is... oh, by the way, now, of course, we hit the resistance here. We almost hit the 886, significantly reducing probabilities for a double 1-2 if we do. The 886 is just at the higher end of the box. So for probabilities here to increase bearish based on new info, we either need impulsive moves down, not up, and preferably lose this support and hit the 886 next, right? The 886 is always important. So for the bears, corrective structures up, impulsive moves down. How to find if we are still in wave 4 correction or started wave 5? You're talking about the daily, I suppose. Well, for a wave 5 to start, you want to at least count an impulse on a 4-hour time frame, right? So if this is the end of a wave 4 and you're looking up for 5, then what you want to count is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on a higher time frame, because we are talking about a wave 5 on a weekly time frame, which means that on at least a 4-hour, but even daily, you want to start a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave structure, a nice impulsive move, preferably without truncations. Then get a retracement in a 2, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that is your wave 1, corrective retracement in a wave 2, and then you continue up in 3. So, and by all means, getting a 5-wave move up is no guarantee of the start of a wave 5, as it can still be an ABC, for example, in a zigzag, right? Elliott waves is always dynamic. There's no certainty. So the moment you get a 5-waver, you can't put a stamp of, hey, we start a wave 5. Dollar is strong in news, how it goes up and up. People buying, no? Absorption of market shorts, people buying, pressing them buttons. There's a relationship between dollar and Bitcoin, yes. But there's no reason why. So I have no idea what the dollar is doing at the moment. I don't know if it goes up or down, but doesn't always mean that if the one moves up, the other moves down, and vice versa, of course. Pistachio, wow. This is the first time I see someone in chat with the light blue badge. That is sick. Can I see? Like, I can't click on it. On Twitch, you hover on top of it and you can see like how many months. I think it's 6, no? Or is it a year? Might even be a year now. Yes. Oh, wait. Mate, you wrote it there. How do I miss it? I was still just looking here. 1 year. Check me out. I've got the light blue badge. I'm so dumb. I completely missed your text here. Man, so sick. The first person I see in live chat that is a member for 1 year. Oh, oh, cheers, Pistachio. That is incredible. 12 months. Crazy support. Pistachio started in gold. Elliott Wave training there. And still part of the team. Wow. The first time I see the blue badge. And it's great to see it is a Pistachio. Always, he was always there during all the live streams in gold, asking so many questions. But Pistachio is really good in Elliott Waves nowadays. Really, really good. Light blue badge. Daily naked point of control from Atas, by the way. Yes. No, that's brilliant, man. Really cool. Cheers for the support, Pistachio. Bybit CVD dropping like rock while price going up. Yeah. What are the fibs probabilities for God Candle Blast off? Fasten your to the. If you're looking for wave 3, right? If that is answering a question here, but if you look for wave 3 and if you have your probabilities highest for wave 2 to be finished, a minimum target for wave 3 generally is the 1.618 at 67.1k. In that case, of course, we want to see a lot of volume. Laksha, welcome back. Been a while. Ed, good to have you here as well. Welcome back, Laksha. How you doing? Classic names coming in and out. Sometimes don't see them for months and then here they are again. Trending views. Cheers for the bulls. 69 likes incoming. So we open a short. Depends on your strategy. And your plan, of course. Hi, Koens, I have a question. How you get today on your chart, or what is Dominic Afray? I recommend, first of all, to go to my channel, go to home. And if you go down, I made a video explaining naked point of controls, this one here. I definitely have to update my paint thumbnail of 1 year ago. That's how I did my stuff. You can see it's high quality thumbnails. But yeah, check out this video. So you can use volume profile just to answer the question more specifically, right? So I recommend that video nonetheless. You can use the volume profile. So for example, if you're looking for a daily volume profile, right? And we want to see the day, like for example, the point of control of yesterday. Now for me, my trading day, I think starts at like 1 second, let me check here. On a 12-hour time frame. Oh no, it starts at 2 a.m. So what you can do is pull a volume profile from 2 a.m. on my chart to the next day. Settings. And then this point of control, right, can be a naked point of control of the previous day. You could use this. Maybe want to see what it does. Yeah. So point of control of yesterday, it has been hit immediately. Now let's check the point of control of 2 days ago. So Tuesday. So from 2 till 2. Okay. Over there. Now what you can also do, right, is use this indicator, Leviathan, with market sessions and volume profile. There you go. The red lines are the point of controls in this case. Value area low, point of control, value area high. But what I use is Atas. And I will quickly show you. So 1 second here, I need to start up Atas, and I quickly need to go to my web. I never know where Atas is opening, if it's opening here or here, but I use a different email for Atas. So let me have a quick look. Where does it open? Always takes a while when I'm streaming. Atas by itself is quite a heavy platform. So come on, open up. Oh, there we go. Okay, it's on my other screen. Cool. Connect. So Atas is a third-party software which you can download. It's for free when you use it for crypto. And I think I actually put the link in Discord as well. I'm actually not sure. So if we go to Discord and we go to the Good to Know channel, then these are the templates. Do I also have a link to Atos somewhere? Yes, here. Okay, there you go. So link to Atos is in there as well. So 1 second here. Okay, there we go. So Atos has booted. It's a little bit slow because I'm also streaming. So we can go to chart, daily naked point of control template that I have shared in Discord. Click on OK. And then it will open a window. Now we got to change the time frame to the daily. And then there we go. So what you see here on the chart, all the gray pivots, except for the one here, these are daily naked point of controls. Right? And of course, today, like on Atas, the day of yesterday here had a point of control, which is where we are now. You can see it was tapped. This point of control is the current day point of control at 61,225. So the one of yesterday, daily naked point of control, has been tapped. Now we can also use or have a look at the weekly, monthly point of controls, which is what you see here. The current one, this yellow one here at 61225, that is your current weekly point of control, right? But we have a naked one at 65,100. Naked monthly point of control in purple, brown, pink, whatever, 70.9, right? Oh no, wait. The reason it's this color is because this is a weekly and a monthly at the same level at 70.9K. The monthly here in purple, 51.8. Right? So you can see if I zoom out, the more information you can get if you want. So I just have Atas. You can go back in, like this is just adjusting time and ticks and whatnot. But yeah. I update my point of controls all the time, so I don't need all of the previous information, so the charts load a lot quicker because I put them eventually on my TradingView chart. But this is what I use. So I use Atas. There you go. Ta-da! I have a question. How you? Yeah, so we answered that one. Wave 2 could be rather than diagonal in bullish terms, of course. Correct. Cup and handle. Cup hand. Yes, but then of course, preferably you want to reject here at the box. For now, we are testing resistance here. It rejected from 6. Is it going down? Well, first of all, one can never say, is it going down, is it going up, because there's no certainties, only probabilities. And the probabilities depend on your analysis style. Now, from an Elliott wave point of view, as long as price is moving up on increasing volume, which we at the moment are doing here, there's not a reason to look for downside. So you want to change market structure. If price, and I explained this earlier, but we are moving to the upside and volume is increasing. If we are bearish, that means we want to end the structure on a high amount of volume and move down, change the market structure, take this low. For an impulse, we're looking for wave 3, volume is increasing, by far most common for wave 3. So what we're looking for is eventually continuation, have another 4 and another 5, another high on lower volume, right? Because that's what we're looking for. So we are now at resistance. As you can see at the moment, price is just tapping, rejecting, came back once again. So yeah, we're just grinding a bit of resistance now. What was it? Is it going down? It didn't reject, right? Short little reaction, came back up. Golden pocket is indeed in confluence with the box here, but you're moving up on increased volume. If this is for you a sign to short, you got a short, no? Yeah. You gotta have your own plan or strat. But let's say that, like, no, I can't say it. I'm not a financial advisor. Yeah, of course, there's many here that are following the channel for you, or actually not, because the channel 1 year ago in June, I think, was about 3,000 subscribers. February, March, April was 1K, May was 2K. I think June, July, I think we were at between 2.5 and 3K ish last year. The channel started in February last year. Yo, AK Blaze, how you doing? Welcome. Up in B, finish W, X, and then a wave Y. Yeah, so in that case, you want to end on a high amount of volume. That is then what you're looking for as a bear, of course. Let's see if we just quickly checking flat potential. Hit the 1.618. Of course, if we do this, then yeah. Because a flat wave B can end on high volume, and then you get a wave C down, change the market structure, but then you return back up. But the rare target for a wave B in a flat is the 1.618. So if you touch the 1.618 and you move down impulsively, it's likely an A or 1. It's just yeah, thanks Karim. Yeah, like, look, it's Karim, send me an email, and Sibel as well, and I will show, by the way, I'll do it probably next stream, but I'll show what Karim has created, and I'll also show or let you listen to what Sibel has created, because Sibel, she made songs for or about the koenztrading YouTube channel with AI, and it's insane. So I'll make sure to play those songs next time, and also show you what Karim has created. It's incredible. Like, I look, I don't expect anything in return. I just like to show you, or like to take you along on like in like Elliott ways on Bitcoin. I just want to help people provide as much value as I can with the analysis on Bitcoin for over a year. And as you can see, the channel grew from 0 to, I don't know, 12.1K or something now in about a year and a couple of months, which is insane. So it shows that there is value and people enjoy their time. But then you sometimes get like emails like Karim sending a logo, Sibel making music, and throughout the channel's lifetime, more people like, yo, Koen, you know, like a Douwe with the thumbnails out of nowhere. His name is Big Ladusky in YouTube and Discord. Out of nowhere, sends me an email. He's like, yo, Koen, I was sitting on the couch and I was like, you know, let me make you a thumbnail. And out of nowhere, like, I don't know, a year ago, whatever, he made a thumbnail. It's insane. So yeah, thanks for the logo, Karim, and an email is coming your way. Absolutely. Why do you Atas? Because Atas is more accurate. It's more precise. Does the naked point of attract the price due to that she is lol. There's innovation maybe, but it is definitely something to keep in mind. Yes, point of controls are very important. For me, I mean, it's just something that I like to use. It's a tool that I like to use. Van Eck filed for Solana ETF. Some news. Jason, welcome. So we touched above the resistance. Probability increase for further upside. Mind you, you have still the bearish diagonal. That's pretty much the one that is left. I think we now hit the 886. So a double 1-2 down has low probabilities. Let me do this. Let's see if we actually touched it. Yes, we did. Yeah. So a double 1-2 significantly reduced now in probabilities. So therefore, the only bearish scenario that is pretty much left would be to count this as a diagonal, where you have a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you want to have a 3-wave structure to the upside. based on the impulsivity, you then have to either think about a zigzag or double zigzag structures. But by all means, this is your most important resistance. So probabilities are not like you need to pass this area for the probabilities to increase up, right? So this is important resistance, clearly. We are here now, we're rejecting as well. If we pass this, there's only a bit of there's a smaller point of control of this range here, 61.9. So of course, arguably I could be like, okay, I'm going to include that point of control, but I only used my other horizontals. So these are the only two that are left, but this is your most important area. So at the moment we are finding resistance, high volume into resistance at the moment. So we come back to what I mentioned earlier is, if this is impulsive, we want to of course see continuation and not change market structure. Just keep the market structure up. So yeah, it's. Well, yeah, the point of control is one. First of all, past this resistance. So, of course, what we like to see, I mentioned this earlier in the stream, but we are now at resistance. So if price is going to grind here against resistance, of course, first of all, hanging around, keeping like testing resistance over and over again, the more often you test it, the weaker it becomes. But if we start a bit of a range here, okay. 1 second. It's actually interesting that, so what happened, I got a call and it says potentially spam and it's a number from France. But because we are going to move to France, it's likely like an agent or someone. So I have to pick it up and it was. So anyway, what we're looking for is we are now at resistance. So what I like to see is I want to see what I saw here. I want to see a range forming first of all, and then eventually price grinding against resistance, bullish CVD on the 3 minute, right? Increases probabilities to pass it. Close some candles above. Now, like with these support resistance areas, of course, what you'll often see is then you close above, you find support, potentially grind on top, bullish CVDs again, preferably, and then continue. Signs of strength, and I love to use C4D for that as well, right? So yeah, and then of course close candles above. It's just all probabilities. Like you increase the probabilities to continue up if you close a candle above, if you see bullish CVDs against resistance, if you see bullish CVDs during a retest, right? More bullish. So it's step by step. So of course what you say is correct if you close above. It's just one of the steps here. Jackman, pleasure, Jack. Thanks. I mean, hopefully it's valuable to many. But Zad, by the way, Zad, welcome. Good to have you here. And Jack, cheers. Huh? Seeing a potential expanding diagonals are very rare, never preferred unless all of other scenarios fail. So keep that in mind. Expanding diagonals are very rare. I'm seeing a potential expanding diagonal down in wave C of high degree 4. Currently in 4 of the diagonal to rejected 64. Wave 5 to end. Any thoughts? Yes, pretty much what I mentioned is a diagonal expanding is very rare, never preferred, unless any other scenario fails. With that being said, wave 5 to end. So wave C of a high degree 4. So what you're looking for is probably then high degree 1, 2, or sorry, A, B, C. What the hell is that? Oh, okay. So you're probably thinking about A, B, C, but there's no way I can get an expanding diagonal in here. You might start it here and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The problem is this can't be a 2 in a diagonal because on some charts it took the high, which then would invalidate the diagonal. Third, you would actually need to see overlap preferably, meaning 66.3K. And an expanding structure, expanding diagonal is very rare. And here there's no sign of expanding diagonal. So it's, yeah, it's again, very rare, never preferred, unless any other scenario is failing. Like you first got to invalidate all of the others. Mark. I know what you were building in your house when you were building the other day. I don't know, like last month, you were busy working in your house. I now kind of like get the idea of what you've been doing, what you build. Have a plan, stick to the plan. Hi, Koens, as always. Greetings from sunny Italy. Very nice. Sunny Netherlands now as well. Question, do you have a recommendation where I can learn more about fit plan? Most Elliott Wave theory books give little space. Yeah, so that would be the completely free, public, open playlist, this one here. Because in every video in this playlist, I also cover FIP time. Now, mind you, time is never an invalidation or a confirmation. It adds or decreases probabilities to certain scenarios and structures. Horizontals are most important. But in every video here, I cover FIP time. And everything you need to know about Elliott waves is in this playlist, including FIP time. Now, reading about FIP time, there's no source, unfortunately, that I can give that very specifically covers FIP time. And the book, so Elliott Wave Principle, they do cover time, but they are not very precise. So what they talk about is ratio analysis. So let me like show you. 1 second. Let me do this and then do this. So what they say is chapter 2, right? Guidelines of wave formation. You have alternation. Alternation is time, right? Wave equality, that's also about time. The right look is also about time, right? And then over here we have chapter 4, ratio analysis and Fibonacci time sequences. So you do read about time. They're just not very specific. But actually from an Elliott wave point of view, when you think about the Elliott wave degrees, it makes sense that time is very important. Because if you have for example, an impulse, you're counting an impulse and what you see is a 1, 2, you see a wave 3, right? That's your goal. And then you see this and then this. Does this look like a great impulse? Now, your target for 4 might be perfectly fine. Price may have retraced to the 236 to the 05 target area, didn't hit the 618, no overlap with wave 1, corrective structure to the downside, another impulsive move to the upside. The problem is time. It's the ratio. So your wave 4 is so big, over 6 times the length of your wave 2, that it significantly reduces probabilities. This is a wave 4. Instead, probabilities would increase to count this as a WXY, or to count this as a finished zigzag for a wave A, right? Or a wave W, let's make it a W. And then look for a flat structure in X where this long sideways range is a wave A. And this is a B impulsive structure up. It's a zigzag, 535, and look for price to move down. So in this example, time is the one that gives you a much better read of price, even though wave 4 may not have invalidated in price, hitting the 618, or it's corrective as well. It's not an impulsive move down. it's time that's very important. So it definitely helps with Elliott waves to know time. And if you read the book and have like the basic knowledge of Elliott waves, you will realize that, of course, ratio is important. And the most important fib times, in my opinion, which you'll see in the content as well, because in most of these videos I talk about them, is the 3A2 and the 5 or 6 fib time. Those are the most important because it has to do with ratio. If a structure is shorter than the 3A2 fib time, then the probabilities go down. It is like, how can I say this? If it is rare for a structure to finish before the 3A2 fib time, right? When we think about ratio analysis, when we think about time, preferably you end the structure after the 3A2 fib time, else it's very short. So if we have a wave 1 and then look for a wave 2, preferably your wave 2, right? A wave 2 is commonly short, deep, and simple. Preferably your wave 2 ends at least after the 3A2 fib time taken from the start. Double click here at the high from the start to the end of your wave 1, right? That is most common. It's not impossible for it to end before the 3A2. It's just what is common and what's not common. It's probabilities, right? And the 5-6 fib time, the reason why those are important is because once a structure moves towards a 5 or a 6 fib time, it starts to be very long compared to the structure you take it from. So if we have a wave 1 here, and we take a fib time from the start to the end of wave 1, and then let's toggle on the wave 2s, then you can see that if price is going to range and range and range and range and range and range, and if it makes a new low here after the 5 fib time, right? Just look at the structure. This is your 1. This has to be your 2, right? Because it made a new low after the 5 fib time. It's not impossible, but the probabilities are significantly reduced that we are looking at a wave 2 here because of the incredible size of this range. And in the end, the only thing that we can trade is probabilities. There's no guarantee that it is not a wave 2. It can be, right? And then we continue up in a wave 3. But it is good to have this knowledge in your toolbox and know about fib times and know about ratio analysis, as that is pretty much what is covered in the book and how they like talk about time as well. It's the ratios between the waves. And this will help you to increase or decrease probabilities for certain scenarios that you have. So it's very good to know time. And time is bound to Elliott waves. So you have Elliott waves is related to price as well as time. It's covered, it's covered in the book, right? Time is covered in the book. It's a super important element. It's not covered in a lot of detail, but by seeing the playlist, you'll get a good feeling of what fib times you need to pay attention to. Hopefully it helps people to learn more about time. Okay. Scam and stuff. Cheers, Bergwolf. Can you show how you do fib retracements for downside and upside? Yeah. So fib retracement. Now we have a great example. On the chart, of course. So for the bullish scenario, where we look for 1, 2, and 3, we want to look for areas of support, and what you can use is the fib retracement tool. So how you then use it is you click, you connect. So you can use control. Look at the left here, right? So if I press control on the keyboard, for people that don't know, if you use control, the magnet will be on. So now you can see, right? The horizontal line of my cursor is always bound to the bottom of the candle wherever I go. If I release control, it's free, right? So FYI, little tip. So what I do here is I press control, I click. So now it's connected to the low. Then I move it to the high, and I get the fibs. So probably in the beginning you have, do I still have that? Apply default drawing template. I guess this is the one. Yeah. So this is probably what you have if you never change your fibs. This is probably what you see. So every level can be a potential support level, but in Elliott waves, we use it a little bit different, right? Because some areas are more important than other areas, and this is why I have a whole set of templates. But by all means, to clean this up a little bit, you pull it from the low to the high when you look for support, right? And you pull the same fibs, or others, depends on what you look for, from a high to a low to look for resistance. Now again, this is your standard template. I have lots of different templates, but this is resistance. So now you can use these fibs in confluence with other tools to find areas of resistance. Just like if I take it from the low to the high, I look for areas of support. And this is how you use the fib retracement. So, and it's also in the name. So retracement refers to, we have a structure and we look for a retracement. The fib is taken from the low to the high, for always from left to right on the chart. And then we look for a retracement. So this is where fib retracement comes from, right? You look for a retracement of the initial wave that you are measuring from low to the high or the high to the low here, right? So that is how you use it. Oh, there you go. Oh, very nice. So literally don't say I didn't show it on stream, eh? Against resistance, see a grind, higher lows with bullish CVDs is one of the things we like to see. Bullish CVD, both on blue and on yellow. Very nice, no? $886. So if price can touch the 886 here, 62.2, increases probabilities to take the high. I can imagine the volume still high as well. Where are my moon boys at? Yeah, very good. So of course, bullish CVD against resistance, grinding on a 3-minute time frame. Oh, probabilities, no? I literally, I kind of gave that one on a silver platter. That's one of the things I like to look for. What's up, Obelix? How you doing? 62. Yep, we back. What is the difference between the blue and the yellow line? The blue line is the aggregated CVD line. Right? So blue is a combination of many different platforms, and yellow is Bybit by itself. It's just Bybit. Now the reason why, even though I don't actively trade on Bybit, the reason why I use that line is because back in the day when I learned about CVD, I did use Bybit, so naturally I used the Bybit line. Nowadays I'm so used to reading the Bybit line. Every CVD is a little bit different. So the one from Binance, the one from whatever platform is a little bit different. And I just got completely accustomed to reading these two, aggregated and Bybit. So that is the reason why I use these, and with great success. So yeah, very nice. So that is the difference between the two. Never understood it. Yeah, CVD is a very well-known tool. it is, you will find like many videos on YouTube for free, of course, about CVD. I'm actually curious. CVD, cumulative volume delta. Let's see what's out there. Yeah, so there's many videos about, oh, hey, I know this guy. There's many videos about CVD. And yes, one of the, I'm happy, one of the videos is also my video here, where I talk about the theory behind CVD, exhaustion, absorption, time frames, the website I use, and everything. Now, with regards to CVD, you can go to Discord, link is in the description, together with, how many people are in here nowadays? Almost 3,000, holy moly. So if you go to the Good to Know channel and scroll down, first of all, this is the website, a couple of templates here as well, but the Bitcoin template I made is down here. So that is the one I use. And this is a one-pager to help you with CVD as well. So it's like a summary of the video. Of course, there's a link to the video as well. So this gives you a bit of a summary. So I think it's important, besides just knowing what a CVD divergence looks like, in my opinion, it's very important to know what CVD is. Because if you really understand what you are looking at when you look at these lines, it will help you with trading. So of course we can only focus on divergences and be like, oh, high, low price, low, low CVD, bullish divergence, lower, high, high, high CVD, bearish divergence. But what does it mean? And the meaning is what is explained in the theory section, but of course also in the video in a bit more detail. So yeah, it's completely free. You can just download it from Discord. So yeah. Look, I have no idea, but it works for me. So hey, so it's not incomplete to me. It shows both bearish and bullish CVD divergences, and yeah, I mean, it works. It works nicely. Works nicely for me. So yeah, I never had problems with my CVDs, honestly. So I mean, everyone is free to have their own CVD line. Everyone can download the template and they can change it around. They can change the settings, change the lines, change the platform. I just use the one I use, and I use it with great success, which is of course good. So also here, for example, bull CVD on the 3 minutes against resistance, bull CVD on the 3 minutes. That's what I like to see. But with regards to the coding, yeah, there's no particular focus on buys or sells in the development of. So yeah. Also make sure to check out the ones from Dario and like ETH and Solana. Have a look there as well. Cheers, Yatin. Question related to CVD. On higher time frames, it always seems to go down. Do you know the reason? I don't actually, like, do you know the reason? It's almost like, of course, it's always selling. Like people are always shorting or market shorting. But I honestly don't really know. The thing is, and that's also something I mentioned in the video about CVD, and on the one pager, CVD is by far best used locally, not on a daily time frame, not on a weekly, not on a 4 hour, right? 1 hour or lower. That's where the power is of CVD, especially the lower time frames. So that is also the recommendation. Yeah, I don't really use, so CVD on the daily, arguably you can say it's always going down, but it doesn't mean it's not useful, right? So I think the bullish CVDs, when we made the 69k high, let's have a look. Go to the daily here. I mean, look at CVD, right? Look, it's so useless. So here, a higher low on price, right? So on a daily, you'd be like, yo, high, low on price, but we have a much lower. When was it for the first time? low. Pretty much when the all-time high was made, CVD was already lower. So you already had bullish CVDs here, higher low on price, lower low on the CVD. But then if you would zoom in here and you go to the lower time frames, that is where you will see the 15, the 3 minute, the 1 hour bearish CVD divergences every time. And these eventually played out, and yeah, you took the lows at 30K. So yeah, I don't use the daily. For me, it's not a. I like the 15 minutes and the 3 minute time frames. Those are the two that I like to enjoy using. Most relevant as well for CVD, because CVD, it shows the market orders, right? Market long, market shorts, and of course it's most relevant to know what's happening locally when talking market longs, market shorts on lower time frames, because if there's absorption going on, of course locally, so that would be the place to look. Yeah, it's just important locally. Almost had the local 886. Did we touch it now? I mean, volume is still high as well, so did we touch it? We almost did, or did we? 886. Oh yeah, we did. Yeah, so now the probabilities are high to take this high as well. So now the probabilities are low. This is an impulsive structure to the downside. All right, double 1 2 invalidated for a diagonal. If this would be a 1 2 and then a 3 down, 886, very rare for a wave 2. Of course, it's still a wave Y target. But we have volume increasing, price moving up, bullish CVDs against resistance, bullish CVDs here as well, past the resistance. Now, what price does have a bit of a tendency to do is after 886 touches, hit the golden pocket again. So that's why I have a template for this, but well, we'll see now. Hello, sir. Welcome, David. Will you be looking for a long entry before wave 5? I'm already long. So arguably, I guess the question is yes. But as a day trader, like I guess if you are a swing, I mean even as a swing trader, if you look for more confirmation as a swing trader, probably you want to wait for a 5-wave impulsive structure up on the 4-hour time frame and then long the retracement. As a day trader, I can pretty much go long and short anywhere because of the lower time frames I use. But I'm already in a long now. Yeah. So FYI, my entry is here. It's like we were live here. I even explained what I was seeing. Now I'm not telling people to press any buttons, but I literally explained what I saw here, right? I mean, I took the entry before going live on YouTube, but then again, I mean, we came back in this range, built more bullish CVDs as price was going up here. That's what I like to see. I also mentioned it in the video this morning. So in the video this morning, I was talking about CVD. It's the CVD section in the video. And I said 3 things. What I want to look for price to increase probabilities to move up. I said 1, right? With a new bounce, because we bounced here, we had bearish CVDs here, bearish CVDs here. I said step 1 is have a bounce and no bearish CVDs. Step 2 is if there are any bearish CVDs, invalidate the bearish CVDs. Step 3 is have price grinding up and bullish CVDs. Now, of course, on the chart, on a 15-minute time frame, you have bearish CVD here and bullish CVD here. So these cancel each other out. But that is why I mentioned I want to see price up and bullish CVDs. And that is what we saw here. Yeah, I trade what I say. I literally mentioned it in the video this morning. So took the long. And now it's just management. We're above resistance. So arguably, we don't want to see it move down there again. So there we go, stop break even. Keep it simple. So I'm not. I didn't take a position at the lows, because over here for me there was no confidence. There was no sign of like strength. No bullish CVDs locally. No volume yet coming in. Market structure locally down. Only hit the 382 fib. The 05 is a little lower. I wasn't interested yet. Yeah, New York is open now for 44 minutes. Midweek reversal. Is the grind up too slow for a wave 3? No, absolutely fine. Of course, in a wave 3, you want to count 1, 2, and then a wave 3. So your 2s, those of course take some time. So that's no problem. So if we're looking for an impulse, right? And what you're going to be looking for is to count 1, 2, and that's your 3. Volume increasing, right? Look at the volume. We're making higher highs on higher volume. That's what you want to see in a wave 3. Now, what is important here in an impulse is, in an impulse, we're counting 1, 2, 3, right? Now, what you want to see is another 4 eventually and another 5 on lower volume. If you are ending a structure on a high amount of volume and move down, invalidating a wave 4, we label it a wave C. Almost too high now. How can I use your CVD? Yeah, template is in Discord, good to know channel. So it's here, Discord, good to know channel, and then here it is. Good day, good sir. I appreciate you guys saying sir. You can also just say kun. Sir sounds so old. I know. I have like a little bit of gray hairs here and there, and I already passed the 30s, but I do like the respect, though. It's very respectful. What target with your long would you be looking at, or will you be? Yeah, it's just completely management. So with Elliott waves, I generally don't really have a specific target. I manage according to new information. Yeah. So I never long the lows. I never short the highs. I never exit my trades at the perfect top or the perfect low, because I always wait for a range, and the range will give me the information to either close, compound, other things. So it's step by step. That's at least the way I trade Elliott waves. Like I have another way of trading, which is data driven, and there I have a set target, but it's a different strategy. I don't it's not an Elliott wave trading strat. So yeah, at the moment I don't have a target. I'm in a long and I just wait and see what price does, and based on new info I can manage it correctly. Oh, cheers, Mark. Thanks for being here, man. Adam, how you doing? What's up? Can you repeat how do you invalidate wave 4 and call it C? 618. So if you're looking at an impulse, 1, 2, 3, and then eventually a 4, 5, you pull a fib from the low of 2 to the high of 3. And the 618, or overlap with 1, right? But the 618 is an invalidation for a wave 4. Of course, always be aware of the potential for a double 1, 2, but it's not a wave 4. Right? So low probabilities, doesn't make sense. So that's like an invalidation. Yeah. And then we're gonna label it wave C, higher probabilities for an ABC and a move down, possibly a double 1, 2, but that depends on the extension of your second leg up. Must be Bridges saying sir. Yeah, it's very neat, it's very respectful. Like I had to get used. So sometimes I speak in front of classes and kids, and they then call you Mister, Mister Koen, like Meneer Koen. You got to get used to Meneer. It's yeah, interesting, sir. Uh, what you talking about? I'm 36 and still a baby. Like, keep being a baby. Live young. Body grows old. The mindset keeps young. Koos, how do you use the monthly level? How do you use it? It's a support resistance area. So a monthly time frame horizontal or a monthly point of control. I use it as a support or resistance area. Yeah. Glenn, what's up? Signalized trading, welcome. You're bullish or bearish? Up or down? At the moment, price has been moving to the upside impulsively. We are at the 886 now. Price, interestingly, has a bit of a tendency to move to a golden pocket after an 886 touch. So that's why I have this template on the chart now. But price is moving up, increased amount of volume. So the probability is on the side for wave 3, unless you invalidate a wave 4. So you want to see continuation. In other words, you don't want to see market structure change, right? You don't want to go all the way back in the range now. You just want to continue. 886 touch increases probabilities to take the high here. This is not a very low probabilities. This is a wave 1, 2 continuation down. The 886 is rare for a wave 2. If this is a corrective structure in a W, X, and then a Y, W has to be a zigzag, X, and then wave Y has to be A, B, C. But C is very long. Yeah, it's at the moment higher probabilities to look for up for now. Doesn't 1, 2 only happen in extension points like 3 or 5? Yeah, at the beginning. So a double 1, 2 or double 1, 2 in wave 3, for example. That is the most common one, right? So you have your, arguably this as an example, this is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Okay, cool. Now 1 and then 2, 1, 2, 3, highest amount of volume, preferably that's your 3, no? So you have a bigger 1, a bigger 2, and then on a lower time frame you create like a 1, 2, 1, 2, maybe even a third one, but then eventually you expect your bigger 3, and then 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, create a bigger 4, then a final leg up in your 5. So of course, if you have an impulse on a daily, and it's all time frames, right, as well. So if you have an impulse on a daily, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the daily, well, if you go to a 4-hour chart, you will be able to count a 1, 2 in here, right? 1, 2, and then 3, 4, 5. And on a 1-hour chart, you're probably able to count another 1, 2 in here. And on a 15-minute, in a 1-hour impulse, you can count another 1, 2 in there. So that is how the 1, 2 stack up, because you go down and down and down in the time frames. That is where the multi 1, 2 eventually comes from. It's just 1, 2s of different degrees of Elliott waves. A double 1, 2 from the bottom of this morning. I guess I answered the question pretty much. But yes, because the highest volume is now in the high. Now, in a bearish scenario, you want to, or price can end on high volume when it is a wave C or a wave Y and then turn around. But arguably, in this case, you have a move up here, bit of a range, right? That's your 2. Another move up, bit of a range below resistance. That's preferably then your second 1, 2, no? So double 1, 2, starting 3, but you want to see continuation. Or at least have market structure, higher highs, higher lows, minimum. Aravind, how you doing? Welcome. Yes, sir. Cheers, signalized. Samira, welcome. If your extended wave is 5 instead of 3 in an impulse, do you still expect wave 4 to go down to? Wait, if your extended wave is 5 instead of 3 in an impulse, do you still expect wave 4 to go down? Well, no, you never want wave 4 to go to 6-2. Also, of course, if you have a finished impulse with an extended fifth, you're not looking for a 4 anymore, unless you have a higher degree. Like if you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, your 4 is already finished. And if this impulse is part of a bigger impulse in a 1, 1, 2, and then 3, 4, 5, your wave 4 target is related to this wave 2, unrelated to the impulse up here. Doesn't matter. This is just a wave 3. So your wave 4 target is related to your wave 2 here, not the extended structure. So no, the 6-2 is not used. It's not used. Bear sitting down watching Sir Koen's Bull Showtime. I know, right? We're doing good. Sorry, I explained that wrong. Oh, with 5 I meant subwaves. Okay, 1 second. If your extended wave is 5 subwaves instead of 3, okay. Well, in an impulse, yeah, you understand. Okay, that's good. If you have any other questions, of course, make sure to ask. Samith, can the local wave 2 not yet finish and it becomes a flat? This move up is too obvious. Can a local wave 2 not? Yes, absolutely. Of course, in that case, we want to preferably see the high taken. So your bearish scenario, right, probably posted tonight with the next update. But if you take the high, of course, your bearish scenario is going to be a flat ABC, right? Your other bearish scenario, depending on how high price goes, is an ABC zigzag and then move down, continuation. Of course, in both cases, either ABC, that's your bullish one, right? If you do move down, that is, no. So if you do move down, your wave C, find support and move up. That's your bullish one. Your bearish is zigzag up and then move down impulsively for new lows. Yes. But of course, in both cases, we want to see, preferably also with a flat, of course, we want to see the high take, and that's most common. And then we take it from there. So we do, of course, have the previous range here, a little bit of resistance. Not too much other levels, though. Like it's all just some local stuff. Yeah. $63.2. It's just the previous ranges. These are your resistances. Resistance, a bit of resistance, but yeah, it is level by level. There's no, I don't really have any great horizontals. As you can see, I turned all my folders on now, by the way. But it's little point of controls there. But yes, that's a possibility. Of course, by the way, if it is a flat, let's have a look at time. Time should still be more than okay. We're probably around the 1 now. Oh. A bit over the 1, yeah. Oh, there's no problem. No problem to have a flat. Of course, if this is a wave 3, you want to see, impulsive continuation. The longer you're gonna range here, right, above price eventually, the more bearish it is. If wave 4 takes too long, compared to 2, yes. So if a wave 4 is like 6 times longer than a wave 2, then the probabilities increase that if you do go up after, you're looking at a double zigzag or a WXY with a flat in X, for example. And if a wave 4 generally takes longer than 2, not necessarily because it is complex per se. Wave 4 has a higher probability to be a complex structure based on rule of alternation, where most commonly wave 2 is deep, short, simple, and wave 4 indeed is more commonly shallow, complex, and long in time. Yeah. 63,200 downtrend trend line. We also got a trend line. 63,200, a little bit higher. Yeah, it's definitely an area to keep an eye on at least. Yeah. Holy moly. Very nice. Okay, everyone. I think it's been a good stream. Time to continue the day. It's time to do some sports, yo. I always look forward to this beautiful day as well. I'm doubting about doing leg day, go for a run, or maybe upper body. Maybe go for a run and do leg day at the same time. Sounds like an idea. The main idea of using it is making educated guess and trying to be more right than wrong. I mean, yes, Elfric Lake, of course, this is the foundation of being a profitable trader. Like any strategy you use, you want to create an edge for yourself. And you want to have the probabilities on your side. So with Elliott Waves, we analyze the charts. We try and get clarity on probabilities, and then one can trade the probabilities, yes. But you can, of course, use any strategy. Yeah, but Elliott Waves is one of it. So it is indeed making an educated guess, which basically is a translation for put the probabilities in favor of one direction, either bull or bear, and then eventually that can lead to a trade setup. Now, many Elliott Wave analysts also use other tools to look for more specific setups or other signs of strength, like myself. I don't just use Elliott Waves. In my trading, I also use many other things. But it's all about making sure the probabilities are on your side, trade them, and then management. And if you do have a loss, it's no problem. It's just part of trading, as long as you're right. You don't even have to be right more often than wrong. It's about risk or your risk to reward ratio as well. Right? So if you have a 45% win rate, you will lose 55 trades. 55 trades over 100 trades. But you're going to be profitable with a win rate or risk reward ratio of 1 to 3. So where do waves end and start? Yeah. If you're new to trading, then start by checking out the playlist I made for Elliott Waves. Because, of course, here it is. Because that's only experience. Experience will be the one that will answer that question. So, yeah. Pleasure reloads. So yeah, and that's no problem. It's good to have your own counts, but it's also good to understand if you find someone that's very good, why do they count certain things the way they do. But yeah, the playlist will probably help you out. Everything you need to know is in there. So everyone, cheers, thanks for being here. You know what we're looking for locally: prices moving up on increased volume, right? Important for wave 4 is to not hit the 618. Change market structure would, of course, not be great, because then we're going to be looking for wave C's to the upside, which is bearish. And we look for a bigger retracement down again to continue this range that we're in. So trade safe, right? And yeah, we'll provide an update later today. So again, in a couple of hours, see what price is going to do in the meantime. And yeah, let's see what we get, no? Some exciting price action now. It was good to see. So yeah, that being said, thanks for being here, everyone. And I'm going to catch you at the next one.